Hey guys, and well, it's finally time. After videos of teasing it, I am finally going to make a Sonic XTREME video, talking about the crazy development, all the prototypes, betas, who was involved, and that guy that almost died. So let's jump right in. So, before we get into anything, we must ask ourselves, what really is Sonic XTREME, and what could it have done for the Sonic franchise? No matter what console is going to be put on, it was basically a drive title for every console, 32X and the Sega Saturn. You see, since both of these consoles weren't selling that well, they wanted to make a Sonic game to make them so well, give people a reason to want to buy the consoles. But since neither of them came out, no one bought the 32X or the Sega Saturn. In May of 1994, this pitch was made by STI programmers Michael Kosaka, Don Goddard, and a new member, Chris Sen. When Yuji Naka heard about this next-generation 32-bit Sonic game, he simply shook his head and said,
"Good luck."
That's a chat if I've ever seen one. But there was one small little complication with the Sega 32X. The 32X was not a full-blown console. It was actually an add-on for the Sega Genesis that literally no one bought because it was horrible. But that's not all. The Sega 32X released on the same day in North America as the Sega Saturn released in Japan. Once game developers got wind of this, they completely blacklisted Sega, vouching to never work with them again, believing that they would soon make games for hardware that would be outdated by their newer hardware. Because of this, and some other internal politics, Michael Kosaka, the lead programmer for Sonic 32X, left the team, only leaving Don Goddard and Chris Sen, who had to take up a lot more responsibilities and would soon become the leader of the project. With the 32X falling to the wayside and Sega of Japan pushing for the Sega Saturn to come out in America, the Sonic 32X project would move to the Sega Saturn. Now, stuff gets real. Even though the 4 team members left started work on the Sega Saturn and were pushing for it to be made in the December 1996 release date, Sega of America still wanted to make their own successor to the Genesis without any of Japan's outside help. This led to Sega of America contacting NVIDIA Enterprises to create a Sega Saturn console that had rough specs to match the arcade 3D graphics and appeal to PC gamers. Sonic XTREME was then moved to the PC using theoretical specs to match the NVIDIA console's power limitations. Let's just say, Sega of Japan was very unhappy with this decision. Because of this, the NVIDIA console fell through and the Sonic XTREME project was back on the Sega Saturn, having to restart from scratch. Once Sonic XTREME was back on the Sega Saturn, Chris Sen was made the new lead of the project and was taking it in a much different direction than when Michael Kosaka saw fit. During this shakeup, Mike Wallace joined the team as an associate producer and would soon become lead producer on this next-generation Sonic game. Now, at the end of 1995, it seemed like this would be the next big game of 1996 on the Sega Saturn, but at this point in development, everything began to spiral out of control. In an attempt to make the workflow easier, the XTREME team did 2 big things. They hired Ofer Olan to start working on the main engine, and actually separated the team into 2 groups, one team working on the main levels, and the other team working on the boss levels, and this shall soon become the most important thing of this entire project. Despite the fact that Ofer Olan was a very talented programmer and was doing great things for the project, he didn't really work well with others outside of Chris Sen, and he was mainly working on the PC, so when he ported his to the Sega Saturn, it was running at a horrible frame rate that wasn't that pleasing. This made the main levels of the game completely unplayable, and once Sega of America caught wind of this, they contacted an outside programming house, Point of View Entertainment, to port Ofer Olan's game engine to the Sega Saturn, since they knew the console's hardware very well. Because of this, Ofer Olan was let go from the project due to not working well with others and having developed a program that did not run on the Sega Saturn. Due to this scenario, Point of View was then tasked with taking all major programming duties of the Sonic XTREME project, and they were fully in charge of the main levels. Though most of the Sonic XTREME team took this decision perfectly fine, Chris Sen, on the other hand, was completely enraged by the decision to get rid of O'Farrell Lawn. He saw it as point of view restarting the project from scratch and wanting to get rid of all of the hard work they have made over the years. He would then spend this time trying to re-pitch this game as a new PC title called Sonic XTREME PC Collection. Despite the fact that Point of View was simply porting a much older and much more stable version of O'Farrell Lawn's game engine, Chris Sen went off the project, making Mike Wallace the lead producer of the game. Though it seemed that not all hope had been lost for the Sonic XTREME project, as a new shining bright light of hope came in the form of a young developer named Christina Coffin. Chris Coffin was a longtime Sonic fan, and whether feeling she needed to prove herself to the Sonic XTREME project, in her spare time in her apartment, she had spent creating a Sega Saturn engine for the boss, which allowed much more impressive camera control movement than O'Farrell Lawn's PC engine that he had been working on. When Sen split the Sonic XTREME development group into two teams, one for the main levels and one for the boss, Christina Coffin took this as a chance to show off her engine to the rest of her teammates, and they were highly impressed, and she took main programming duties for the boss engine. Now things were starting to heat up once again. In late March of 1995, CEO Hayao Nakayama and some other Sega of Japan representatives came to see the progress that was being made on Sonic XTREME. There was initially going to be 3 game demos shown off here: the Point of View and O'Farrell Lawn's build, Chris Coffin's boss engine, and Chris Sen was going to pitch Sonic XTREME PC. Despite the fact that Point of View had spent quite some time porting over O'Farrell Lawn's game engine, it had not been running at a stable frame rate. Even though they had a much better, much more stable version of the engine going to be shown off, Hayao Nakayama left before this. He was exceptionally upset at the progress the game has been making, and was threatening to cancel it right then and there. But that did not happen. Before Hayao Nakayama could storm out of the building, Christina Coffin showed off her boss engine to him, and he was very impressed. And he gave off one simple directive that seemingly would change the course of the project forever. He said, make the whole game like this. Now, in summer of 1996, it seems as though all was well for the project. Christina Coffin was living her dream of creating a brand new Sonic game, and it could possibly be out for Christmas that year. But it was at this point when that dream became a terrible, terrible nightmare.
Meanwhile, in Japan, Yuji Naka and his best friend, Naoto Oshima, are busy making this crazy game about crazy flying clowns, man. Freaking clowns, bro. Well, what can you do in this crazy flying clown game? Well, you can run around as this little blue guy with blue hair, and then you gotta fly around as this crazy little clown through the sky. Not only that, but you have to bust open a capsule. Ha ha ha! Oh man, this game sounds so great. Not only that, but it's fully 3D, fully polygonal, and fully complete. Heck, why don't we just bundle it with the Sega Saturn for 1996 so that way everyone will buy it? Let's just make a brand new 3D controller so you can have full 3-dimensional gameplay. Man, ain't that rad? Aw boy, let's check up on America.
Christina Coffin is unfortunately contracted walking pneumonia for working too hard on the game. Okay, I am getting a little bit ahead of myself here. Let's cut back to the summer of 1996, only a few months away for the December 1996 deadline. The CEO of Sega of America asked the Sonic XTREME team what he can do to help the project, so Chris Sen and Christina Coffin look over the work and ask for the Nights into Dreams engine, since it is already released and is very much a 3D game, so they're simply going to use the tools to make the levels while combining with Christina Coffin's programming to make a mixture of the boss engine and the Nights into Dreams engine. Sonic Team, the original creators of Nights into Dreams and, you guessed it, Sonic the Hedgehog, actually made a pre-release demo of Nights into Dreams for Christmas, and one of the unlockable characters here was Sonic the Hedgehog, and his gameplay is actually pretty good. So I'm guessing the Sonic XTREME team saw this and decided that it was their turn to do the same. All that was left to do to complete the game now was design the levels. They already made the assets, the art, the music, the sound effects, and the enemies and the bosses. The only thing left to do was design levels around this, and design levels around Sonic's gameplay. But I guess that was just too simple for these guys. Once Mr. Yuji Naka heard that they were using his game engine, he threw a hissy little fit and threatened to quit Sega, and they didn't need that, cause they needed the head of Sonic Team to make the Sonic games. Because why not hire them to make Sonic Extreme instead of a crazy clown game? Because of this unfortunate turn of events, Christina Coffin and the rest of the Sonic Extreme team had to restart the project from scratch, all working 18 to 20-hour workdays. Christina Coffin pushing herself the hardest to get this game released by December of 1996, but that was physically impossible. At this point, Christina Coffin has already been diagnosed with walking pneumonia and has been told she has 6 months left to live as she keeps working on the game. And now, it is finally time to cancel Sonic Extreme before it cancels anyone else. Though at the time, Sonic Extreme was never officially canceled to the general public, after years of it not coming out for Christmas of 1996, or at all for the Sega Saturn, people generally moved on and decided for themselves that Sega Saturn Sonic Extreme had simply been quietly cancelled under the rug. And once the Sega Dreamcast came out with Sonic Adventure on it, people moved on, now having a new, fully 3D Sonic game for 1999, made this time by Sonic Team. This game was made to show off impressive new tech at the time, new features in gameplay, and had sprawling, large, and open level design that took advantage of all of Sonic's full 3D strengths. Not only that, but it also had an amazing story, simple enough for newcomers to get into the franchise, and had enough lore exposition, and enough there for old, longtime fans to feel satisfied. It was generally well received, and moved Sega as a company forward. Though this didn't mean that Sonic Team had completely given up on the Sega Saturn after Sonic Extreme's terrible cancellation. Late 1997 brought Sonic Team to Sega of America to start work on a brand new 3D Sega Saturn Sonic game that would later become Sonic Adventure for the Sega Dreamcast. Though Sonic Extreme was not forgotten after this, its impact on the franchise cannot be understated. Who knows what 3D Sonic games would be like if this game had come out in 1996 or 1995. Maybe we wouldn't be in a Sonic drought right now if this game had come out. Maybe Sonic would be on top of the world. Who knows? Leave it to a talented Sonic fan to create a homebrew hack of Sonic Extreme in this amazing entry, Sonic Z-Stream. Here you can play the 4 main levels of Sonic Extreme, Jade Gully, Crystal Frost, Red Sands, and Death Egg. Now, 4 levels does not sound like a lot, but this is a fully 3-dimensional Sonic game where everything from enemies to rings to Sonic himself are all full 3D polygons instead of being sprites like how they were in the original game. The game is called Sonic Z-Stream instead of Sonic Extreme because using the left and right triggers will help you rotate the camera on its Z-axis. Get it? But maybe you don't own a Sega Saturn or have some fancy-smanchy technology to get an emulator running. Well, here is Sonic Extreme Unity, a remake in Unity's 3D engine to replicate the experience of Sonic Extreme. Like the other versions, it still has the same 4 levels, but they're much higher quality and look a lot better too, and use the sprites that I was talking about earlier. Unlike Z-Stream, however, this version does use the fisheye globe effect, which makes the levels look a lot rounder, and is much more faithful as this was how it was originally intended to look. But both of these games are made for PC gaming, or I guess technically Sega Saturn gaming. What about consoles? Well, if you own PS4's Dreams, well, you can play Sonic X Dream, a recreation or reimagining of Sonic Extreme using the Dreams game engine. Dreams is a tool used for PS4 to make games, model, art, animations. It's actually pretty cool, and there's a bunch of really good games, just like this one. It's not the most faithful port or recreation, but hey, it's a pretty good one if you want to play this game on a modern console. Dreams made Sonic Extreme possible. Damn, irony. But if an unofficial means of getting a 3D Sonic experience on the Sega Saturn just doesn't suit you, I would recommend Sonic World from Sonic Jam. It's not the biggest and it's not the most in the world, but hey, it is what it is, and it is great. But if that isn't enough to suit your Sonic needs, I would recommend Sonic 3D Blast. It isn't a 3D game, but it isn't a non-3D game either, and at least it is a full game. There's also Sonic R, solely for the Sega Saturn, and I like it, although it doesn't have the best reputation. so go in with caution. Though this does make me wonder, where would the Sonic series be right now if Sonic XTREME had managed to get released? Would Sonic be on top of the world? Could he have changed the gaming industry? How would it affect me and so many other fans? Would I even be a fan? How do I answer these questions? There's so many variables that went into all of this. This is seemingly impossible. Could Sonic XTREME have changed the course of the world if it had been released? Would I even be the same person I am today if this game had come out? Maybe I would have hated it. Maybe I would have loved it. Maybe it would have changed my life forever. Sonic the Hedgehog has affected me in so many ways. Good, bad, amazing. It has changed me for better, become who I am right now. And if this game come out, would I even be here today? Whoa, boy, I'm getting way too philosophical here. It's just a silly video game. But seriously though, this is kind of freaking me out, so I'm gonna end the video right here.